The sun is different here. It's a relentless glare that bleaches the stones, the clay walls of the houses, and seems to suck the last bit of strength from the thin air. Down in the valleys, life churns on, following its own rules. But up here, where the wind scours the slopes and the clouds kiss the ground, time flows differently. A young woman walks by. She's maybe 20. Her movements are stiff, her gaze cast down. Beside her, an older woman, perhaps 45, moves at an unhurried pace, her gaze direct and confident. It's as if her knowledge gives her a hold on you. The difference between them isn't just age, it's a chasm in how these mountains and this society define a woman's place, her power, and her right to herself. In this world of the Aymara and Quechua, far from the hustle and bustle of the cities, things are done differently. The most striking difference touches the most intimate parts of life. Because here, a woman's destiny, her body, and her desires don't truly belong to her, at first. But then, after she turns 30, something incredible happens. Something that to us, people from another world, seems utterly unbelievable, even paradoxical. Life here doesn't begin or end with marriage. Here, everything changes with age. Before a woman turns 30, her life is rigidly controlled. She answers to her husband and, just as importantly, to his family. Her behavior, her movements, her right to intimacy, all of it is under their watch. A young wife is part of a new family clan, and her main job is to serve it and ensure its survival. This isn't because the women here are weak. It's a way of life dictated by the harsh realities of survival, where everyone must know their place and play their part. At this age, modesty isn't an adornment, it's a necessity. Obedience isn't weakness, it's a strategy. But then she turns 30, and it's as if an invisible door has opened. Her gaze becomes steady, her shoulders straighten. She is called mature, the one who knows. Most importantly, she becomes the hosaika, a Russian word that translates roughly to mistress of the house but carries a much deeper meaning here. She becomes the master not just of her home, but of her time, and most stunningly, the master of her own body. Her husband is still her partner, the father of her children, but his authority over her is no longer absolute. He is no longer her sole proprietor, as he was in her youth. Their relationship transforms from one of subordination into a partnership built on mutual respect, forged over years of shared hardship. He still has a say in many aspects of their home and farm life, but the right to decide who to share her warmth and intimacy with, that right now belongs to her. This freedom, this right to her own desires after 30 isn't a free-for-all. It's a different kind of order, one based on the maturity, experience, and life wisdom that comes with years spent in these unforgiving mountains. She has proven her ability to survive, her wisdom in running a household, and her strength of spirit. And society, without any formal declaration, acknowledges this right. This isn't about cheating as we understand it. It's about a mature woman's right to govern herself. Sometimes the husbands know, sometimes they suspect. Here, even jealousy gives way to an unspoken rule. If she's over 30, it's her business. Her reputation at this age is built not on flawless fidelity to one man, but on her wisdom, her skill in managing the household, and her influence in the community. Physical intimacy outside of marriage after 30 doesn't tarnish this reputation. In fact, it can be part of it. Why did such a system ever exist and endure? The reasons are rooted deep in the realities of life at this altitude: survival, the authority of elder women, and, paradoxically, the absence of men. Life in the mountains is tough. Many men leave for months at a time to find work in the cities, leaving the women behind. In their absence, it is the mature women who become the pillars of the community. They make decisions, keep order, and uphold traditions. The young woman with her head bowed moves with a sharp uncertainty, trying to be invisible as she goes about her work. She has a long road ahead before she can raise her eyes and speak as an equal to the elders. Meanwhile, the mature woman sits at the entrance to her home, her hands busy spinning wool or sorting dried herbs. Her gaze is calm, fixed on the distance. She can afford to pause. She can afford to think, and she can afford to wait. She doesn't need to ask permission to go to the next village or hike up to the high pastures. If she has business there, she simply packs up and goes. It seems like a small thing, but for someone who has spent a decade or more under constant supervision, it is a seismic shift.
Before 30, someone is always with her, her husband, his relatives. Her home is their home. After 30, when she becomes the chuzyaika, her house is hers in a different way. If her husband is away working, she can receive guests. And guests here doesn't just mean relatives or female friends. Men can come by, neighbors, travelers, even men from other villages. And what happens inside that house, while she is its master, is her concern alone. This doesn't mean every woman does this. It is not a rule carved in stone. It is a possibility, a right. And those who exercise it do so quietly, without fanfare. Because despite her newfound autonomy, reputation still matters. But at 30, that reputation is built on wisdom and strength, not on girlish modesty. A small deviation from the bonds of marriage is tolerated if it doesn't disrupt the overall social fabric. These women find ways to live within the existing structure while carving out their own slice of freedom. It's an adaptation, a way of using the cracks in the patriarchal wall to create a space for themselves. In a place where men are often absent and survival is a daily struggle, the reliability and experience of a mature woman are valued above all else. Her ability to manage the home, preserve food stores, and care for livestock becomes her primary capital. If gaining personal autonomy helps her maintain her inner strength and cope with hardship, the community silently approves. When husbands leave, they know their home is in the care of an independent woman who knows how to keep it standing. Their own reputation in the community depends on how well their wife runs the household. Another reason may lie in traditions stretching back to pre-colonial times, where the role of women might have been a reflection of older, more balanced worldviews. The key to this whole system is the home. It's not just a structure of stone and clay, it is the center of the family's world. And after 30, a woman becomes its undisputed master. In her youth, she was an apprentice. Now she makes the decisions on her own turf. The house is her fortress and her kingdom. It is here, in the quiet of her home, or on the path leading to it, that her newfound freedom is realized.
But this extraordinary way of life is under threat. Modernity is closing in. Young people are leaving for the cities, seeking jobs and a different kind of existence. They bring back urban values, where such traditions don't exist, and relationships are built on different terms. They try to impose their own ideas of morality and order, creating a conflict between the old world and the new, between the traditions of the mountains and the laws of the valley. The elder women watch as their daughters and granddaughters leave, and they understand that their world and their secret right to themselves may disappear with them. Still, in some of the most remote villages high in the Andes, this tradition is alive. Here you can still hear an older woman speak of a different arrangement. This isn't a license for promiscuity. It is the sovereignty of maturity. The right to one's own body, one's own decisions, one's own life. To us, from another reality, this world where age changes the rules of the game seems incredible and full of contradictions.